I'll turn it over to the president.
All right, welcome everyone. Thank you. Let's see, I think we should start with the grant updates.
Yeah, the grant updates and the audits. So I don't know if everyone, probably not, because things happen at a pace at which I don't expect everyone to keep up with everything. So I'll catch everyone up.
Even I can't. He'll say to me, he's like, "You got that, Abbie?" I'm like, "No, I didn't look at my phone. Like I'm doing something else right now." I'll look at it.
She's like, I'm working on the applicants. Anyways, so just to catch everybody up on where we are and then have a thorough discussion, we have basically come to the conclusion after a lot of research on my part and everyone else's. Some of the discussions have been happening in Discord, in the board channel, et cetera, is that with regards to the Ghanaian audit, essentially we have gone as far as we can with 2000. We will have our books audited for 2025 as soon as our taxes are finalized in the US, which isn't until the month of May. But essentially, the Ghana audit, the individuals that did the audit made some very astute observations in that without having formalized the organization, Give Basic Needs, LBG, until, when was it formalized, Larry? You guys know too, but when was it?
August 25?
August 25. We can't produce financial documents that are legally binding for any date prior to that. Else it would be subject to interrogation and lead us down a path that was unsustainable. And so we've decided, the CFO, myself, and the president have decided that we need to set that aside and pivot. And so the pivot happened last night, and that pivot, or yesterday, after gathering all of this information about transactions in the past and trying to justify, our expenses and our operations in Ghana since 2018, with no real, with the organization that the operations were performed as changing and not matching the same name as the international organization, which we've recently established, it really didn't make sense. So to make a long story short, is what we decided that we need to do, and obviously, Warihana, you'll have extensive input on this. Like I said, I don't expect, we didn't make the decision in a vacuum. It's definitely a draft, but it's a pivot that will need input from everyone on. And Warihana, the reason that you're such an integral part of it is the reason we were doing the reason we were doing the audits was not for compliance reasons. It was to show the future grantors that our books had been audited. And so the pivot essentially says that we will apply for all future grants as the Colussi Family Foundation, simply because since 2021, we have legally binding documents, the 990 PF IRS tax forms, which are legally binding, have been formalized and filed with the IRS, a United States government organization for taxation. So because we have to refer to those 990 PF accounting practices as our formal formal documentation for our finances, all filings will happen under the Colussi Family Foundation. However, the document states the legal infrastructure that we put in place most recently, which I'm just going to call the SOP 3.7. I call it the 3.7 document, which is the legally binding intercompany agreement that we've recently formalized. That's now noted in the grant information. So the idea is apply as the Colussi, if I've got it right, and I could be totally wrong. So this is, like I said, just is really fresh. So we will apply as the Colussi Family Foundation, essentially stating that we've got an intercompany agreement with Give Basic Needs Ghana LBG. And they will be doing our execution on the ground in Ghana. And they were established when they were established, which was 2025. So all of the accounting numbers come from the Colussi Family Foundation, which has financial documents from 2021. However, we've got an intercompany agreement to execute with Give Basic Needs Ghana on the ground. And then another component to this is that while that communication takes place with the grantor is our formal financial documents, I have also assembled and referenced in this documentation, which is consists of a cover letter and some other things with our financial documents. It also states that, as I said, we'll be working with Give Basic Needs Ghana, but it also states that we have had a relationship, the quote unquote founders and Salam have been operating within relations within Ghana, executing projects since 2018. And I've provided a quantitative component to the grant document so that it shows, I've essentially pulled all the video URLs that we have, the dates, and a one-sentence description for every video we've ever done. And then put that into this media qualitative document that shows we know how to execute in Ghana, and we're currently executing in Ghana essentially as Give Basic Needs, which has recently been formalized. So the idea is, sorry, Ben. Oh, maybe you came unmuted unnecessarily. Anyways, so that's kind of the idea is that we acknowledge that the only organization that existed for 3 years of financial records is the Colussi Family Foundation. We acknowledge that we have a binding contract with the zero markup agreement with Give Basic Needs Ghana, and we have a track record since 2018 of the execution of those projects with Salam, myself, and the Presidio in Ghana since 2018. So all of that will be part of our financial package that we give to the grantor when it comes time to give financial details. All of the other things can reference, all of the things, we need to be clear, because is what was happening in my research was that every time we talked about, the key is that the grantor is going to want to see only information from the applicant. They don't care about Dash Direct. They don't care about Give Direct. They don't care about anything other than the organization that's applying. And so that's why I've broken it into two components. So the applicant will always be the Colussi Family Foundation because that's what they care about and where the financial records are. However, the media audit brings into Give Basic Needs Ghana and our history since 2018, but it also brings in the SOP version 3.7, which is the legally binding agreement saying that Give Basic Needs is using our name in Ghana to execute our projects under a zero markup plan. So I'll stop talking now.
Warihana, let's hear from you first.
Please tell me if this is if any of it makes sense, first of all.
And how it will impact you as well.
You might be muted.
Warihana, are you still with us?
Yeah, hello?
Hello.
Sorry, I was speaking to a muted mic.
Oh, no problem, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't actually affect anything when it comes to grant applications. Um, if for anything, it's even going to strengthen our applications, because when you take the Colussi Family Foundation,
Mhm.
uh, if it's 501c, which is really great, it's well structured. I would say it's much more structured than Give Basic Needs Ghana.
Okay.
It's financially established,
Mhm.
um, which signals stability, good governance, and seriousness. And when, let's say, we have an application that is asking for a financial history, let's say your financial statements for the last 3, 4, 5 years,
Uh-huh.
that can easily be produced by the Colussi Family Foundation that's doing business as Give Basic Needs, not Give Basic Needs Ghana.
Right.
Yeah. And one example is when I was working on the Zayed Prize,
Hmm.
mm, I thought of using the Give Basic Needs Ghana, because on looking at the requirements, I thought that they might be looking for organizations that operate close to home.
Uh-huh.
Let's say if you're implementing a project in Ghana, it would be much better if the organization is based in Ghana, like it's operating fully in Ghana.
Right.
But then when I actually created the accounts using Ghana as the location and all of that. And then when I progressed in the application process, they asked for financial statements for the last 4 years, which is something that might be very difficult to produce from Give Basic Needs Ghana,
Yeah.
but can easily be accessed from the Colussi Family Foundation, that's Give Basic Needs.
Right.
So in situations like this, it just makes things easy. So I'm thinking of recreating another account and or even changing it to the Colussi Family Foundation instead of the Give Basic Needs
Yeah.
Ghana that I used previously. So yeah, I mean it doesn't affect anything from my end. If for anything, it actually gives me the flexibility and all the resources that I would need when I'm putting in applications. So yeah, I'm
Wow.
all in for that.
That's great. I'm so grateful that you came to that conclusion because, yeah, producing documents for an organization that didn't exist in 2024 is only going to raise questions about where the money came from, how it was executed, on and on and on. And so that there was no option really for us to generate those 2000, 21, 2, 3, 4 even
Mhm.
documents for that organization, as it just simply didn't exist. So
Right.
I think that now, hopefully, I don't know if you were able to read through the grant document workbook that I created or whatever it's called.
Hmm. Yeah, yes, I was able to do it.
Oh, okay, great. And so, did that make sense with regards to how we should formalize and submit our financials when talking with grantors, and the fact that we need to recognize that we have an intercompany agreement in place, on and on and on.
Yes, yes, it does. I mean, the arrangement between the Colussi Family Foundation and Give Basic Needs Ghana is very good. Let's say it's an opportunity that is looking for 501c organizations. We fit perfectly in that. If
Mhm.
it is organizations, if it's opportunities that are looking for organizations that operate close to home, like
Mhm.
the Zayed Prize, here we can look at it as the scenario where the Colussi Family Foundation is financing an organization that is operating close to home.
Yes.
So in a sense, we are still an organization operating close to home because we are making use of a local organization in the execution process.
Right, exactly. And the other thing for the rest of you that I didn't bring up is that the way that it's structured in the document that I provided to Warihana is regarding the financials is that essentially, um, so first of all, you probably know this, but if not, I'm going to repeat it. So the difference between a public charity, a private, no, I'm just going to back up. So as a private operating foundation, which is what the Colussi Family Foundation is classified as, all of my wages all of the Presidue's wages, all of Warihana's wages, all wages throughout the entire organization, if they are used to further our mission, are qualified as qualifying contributions to charities. So when I'm working at developing the financials or any of those things, those all count as furthering the mission. All of those hours essentially get put on, and dollars end up on the charitable giving side of the equation. That's the reason that we structured it as a private operating foundation instead of a public charity or something else that's known as a private foundation. So those two have different regulations around it. So because we're a private operating foundation and are things like wages and travel, other expenses go on the charitable giving side, this also allows us in the document that I created last night to say that the Colussi Family Foundation essentially creates a zero bureaucracy status for Give Basic Needs Ghana, LBG. And so what that means is that Give Basic Needs Ghana does not pay for accounting on the US side, no legal on the US side, no travel expenses internationally, no wages in general, because all of those wages are paid from the Colussi Family Foundation ultimately. We've put all individuals who work for the foundation, including myself, are under contract as independent contractors. So the Colussi Family Foundation has contracted me to be the CFO, CTO. At any point in time, either I or the organization can terminate that contract and essentially replace that person. The same is true with the President. Same is true with Warihana, Salam, and Ben, we are the 5 contractors of the organization. So by saying that the Colussi Family Foundation has put those 5 not employees, but contractors under contract and pays their wages, it means that this zero bureaucracy concept means that every dollar that we gain from a grantor goes directly to the actual project on the ground. They're not paying for international travel. They're not paying for my wages. They're not paying for Warihana's wages or Salam's wages or Ben's wages. Those dollars are specifically coming from the Colussi Family Foundation funds. So this is a really big critical thing that I think puts us well above other organizations when it comes to obtaining funding, because essentially the Colussi Family Foundation has already funded these operations, the software licensing, the accounting, all of these things. And so all Give Basic Needs Ghana has to do is execute on the ground. And so that appeals, I think, directly to grantors in a more appealing way. Do you understand that, Warihana, and agree or disagree?
Yes, I understand and I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a big selling point that we need to push, is that essentially we are covering these expenses, and the dollars that we're given will go directly to things like vaccines, testing,
Right.
and treatment.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great plan from my point of view.
Hmm. Great.
Yeah.
Great. So, Warihana, that's wonderful, and I'm glad that you're on board and that do you have anything more to say on the topic before we go around the rest of the room?
No, I'm just looking at it from my application's point of view, and it doesn't affect anything. If for anything, it makes things easy for me. So yeah,
Great.
I'm okay with everything.
Great. Well, that's the C-suite's job, is to make things easy for you. So if we're not making things easy for you, please let us know.
All right, so I will.
Great. Okay, so now we'll move to Ben. And Ben, have you had a chance to, or do you understand what we're discussing? And do you have any questions on the new strategy? I want to throw out one other thing, is that the Ghana audits that we did, while I told the president this morning that they didn't produce the documents that we intended. They produced something even more valuable, and that was a legal direction for the organization. And they helped us come to this direction that we're at right now, at this moment. And so, while some may look at it as the money for the audit was ill spent because uh, we didn't end up with the third party audit that we intended, they actually did something far more valuable, and they helped us legally with our plan moving forward and made things easier for Warihana, even though she didn't get the third party grants or third party audit that we originally set out to do. She now has what she needs to move forward, and it was extremely valuable. So we're really grateful for all the effort that went into working with the auditors, and it produced results that indirectly achieve the mission. So before I wanted to say that before we turn it over to Ben and ask for his opinion and thoughts on the topic. So Ben, please now, if you wouldn't mind sharing, that'd be great.
Yeah, so even though this was not the direction that we initially intended from the beginning, but I see that it's leading us to a more useful path.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my only concern was with the grant side, the efforts we have already made
Mm-hmm.
with pursuing some of these grants. But just as Warhana has explained, that it will not have any effect, but it will rather put us in the right path. I think it's a great move. Yes,
Great. Thank you,
because
Ben.
it will not actually be nice. We are following up something, and one thing from the beginning is I think we would applaud the auditors because they actually, in a way, guided us. They were not just interested in picking the money and producing what we want, but along the line, they kept on giving us their inputs, how they think their suggestion or how they think things could work better for us if we should go the way they were suggesting. So I think overall, it's a great move, though not intended, but that is how life is. Life sometimes carry you somewhere best you never intend. So I think it's okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Great insight and wisdom there. Thank you, Benny, for sharing. And again, I guess I have one follow up right now based on what Ben said to Warhana, and that's that Warhana, will you have any rework to do because of this, or had we not gotten that far down the process with the grants that we're pursuing, that you'll have no rework?
No, I wouldn't have any rework. Yes, I do, but not with relation to grants.
Oh,
But when looking at grants, the Morgan Stanley opportunity, I applied for it using the Colussi Family Foundation.
okay.
The same for the Draper Kaplan Foundation. The only one that I need to rework, which I already started reworking, was our platform on Benevity.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I think so far all the opportunities that I've applied for, I've used the foundation.
Okay.
Nice.
Beautiful, beautiful. Great. So we were headed in that direction anyhow, which is great to hear. Thanks for that response. Warhanis. Salam, would you mind commenting on all of this new information that we've gathered in our future direction?
Yes, I think that to an extent that it doesn't affect what Warhana have done so far, and the fact that the new strategic direction helps her even better. I think I'm okay. Though I'm hurt that we paid money for the audits,
Uh-huh.
and but I will consider it as a consultancy fee, and sometimes consultancy can be very expensive.
Yeah,
Myself
absolutely.
and Kevin has been, I think, for the past 2 days doing back and forth, trying to see how best we could align. And I think that getting to this resolution is the best.
Great.
So yeah, I agree that we proceed in that direction.
Great.
And
Yeah, and I think,
also,
go ahead.
just like you said, the direction we are heading actually provides us enough data. If Warhana is looking for a grant that is requesting 4-year financial review or financial opinion, it means that even if we were to rely on the third-party audit we were doing, it will not be enough for such a grant, because that was just for 3 years, and then coupled with the legalities. Because I think that, just like Ben said, when myself and Ben first met the auditors, they raised an issue similar to this, that we should make sure that when they are done, our financial statements are kept very private to us and then the grantors, because should they fall in the hands of Ghana Revenue Authority, we're going to be in trouble, because we're going to assume that we've been operating unofficially,
Yeah.
and we will have to pay penalties. And you never could tell to what extent those penalties could be.
Yeah.
And knowing that the Revenue Authority is always looking for the next cow to milk, it could actually be more huge than the audit fees we paid. So I think it all sums up well.
Great. Yeah, I agree, and I think that looking at it as a consulting fee, or also establishing a relationship, because we will use the auditors for a third party audit. It's just going to be in 3 years, right? I mean, we have to get some numbers to have that external audit be done in Ghana, and so it's just a matter of time. And I think that while we tried to make it work, it was a better considered a consulting fee, which, as Salam pointed out, we don't we are 100% transparent. And if someone at any point in time says something that makes you feel a little uncomfortable about transparency, you should really listen to the feeling in your stomach, and we should question it. And so I think is what we've done is we've taken the feeling that Salam had in his stomach, the feeling that the auditors had in their stomach, and the conclusion that I came to after extensive research with Salam, to realize that this is the legal way to proceed. It is the right way to proceed. And in the end, we're 100% transparent, and it actually helps Warihana. So thank you for all of that effort and that work, Salam, that you put into the last couple of days in trying to get a response to them. Yeah, I think that it's a good move forward. And thanks for that feedback, Salam. I appreciate it. So we can move to Luke. Luke, your thoughts on where we are currently and the pivot?
I think it all sounds good to me.
It all sounds good to you, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any more, or you're good?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, great. And Elaina, how about you? Based on what you know and have heard, if you put on a compliance hat or a board of directors hat, even though you don't wear one anymore, we still value your opinion. How do you feel about the pivot to applying as Colussi Family Foundation and using Give Basic Needs once those years have accumulated, et cetera, and sharing the information that we have about the intercompany agreement with future grantors?
Yeah, I think it sounds like a good idea to me. I mean, one of the big parts of marketing in general, which is kind of what grant writing is to some extent, is showing your authority and your ability to do projects. So by including that history over multiple years that we've already had, will give us that extra sense of legitimacy until we're able to use the Give Basic Needs name in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I want to give a shout out to the past work that's been. Thank you, Elaina, for that wisdom. I appreciate that. So one thing I want to give a shout out to, and some good hard work that took place a long time ago by Salam and Ben, and that was the thoroughness and the transparency in which they executed since 2018 with all of the companies that we've landed under, and all of the documentation and the beautiful videos that we have. All of those things are still paying dividends, if you will. So I wanted to throw out some love to all that past work. Not only did we help people, we did it in a transparent way, and it's still proving to be the videos that Ben did, the work that Salam did on the ground in 2018 is still helping us in 2026, and it's going to help us achieve some amazing things that Warihana is working on with regards to grants. It's just a matter of time, and so that past work is will live in infamy, as they say. And yeah, it was great work and beautiful effort, and I think that we wouldn't be where we are without it. Period.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good job, team.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so
Okay.
President, your thoughts or final comments on the pivot?
No, I agree. Couldn't agree more. It seems like we're spot on and stuff. It was a good find, and yes, you paid for checks and balances sometimes, so that's okay.
Yeah, and as Ben pointed out, sometimes life takes you in a different direction than what you originally thought. And part of the reason that we are a successful organization is because when it's time, I want everybody to understand this as board members, as well as whatever other roles you might have, from volunteer to grant writer to CEO, is that the thing that we can do is we are an organization that is not afraid to pivot. When the climate changes and a pivot is needed, we make the best decision that we can and we move forward until it's time to pivot again. So we didn't just sit back on our haunches and wait for the auditors to produce what they wanted to produce and us to go forward. We immediately said, no, this isn't right. We need to stop doing what we're doing and do something different. And that is the power of this organization, why this organization is so successful, and why I'm so proud to have all of you on the team.
Hey,
Bravo.
thank you. Bravo. All righty. Let's see. Let's move on to the projects. Let's start with 79. No, let's start with 80 since it still isn't funded yet. Salam, you want to give an update on Project 80, the Art and Unity Day?
Yes. So on project 80, I think the budget is complete now.
Uh-huh.
Unless maybe if someone have something to add, I would encourage that we should all look at it, and since everyone can add an item to it, we can put that. But I have updated it. I've updated it and I've included the origami paper,
Okay.
and I think Warihana has also included the giving cards and the business cards of myself, the Presdo, and herself
Great.
onto it. So I think it's complete now.
And just really quick, I have not looked at it because I've been doing other things. But did the jerseys that Ben needed? Did they land on there?
Yes. So
Okay.
I hadn't removed them yet, so I just left it since
Perfect.
we agreed that we'll proceed with that.
Yeah. Perfect. So
Yes.
really quick, I don't have any problem with the number. It's a little higher than I thought, but the jerseys were also a little more than I thought.
Yeah.
And so we're going really hard on the medical one, and with those vaccinations and things, those are super important. But I think this is important as well, as it will be a point to address the youth and realize their value and their place in the community as well. So I guess the other thing I had, Salam, was the Unity Walk. Will that be part of that event then in the morning, or to the football field or something?
Yes. So the health walk, I am thinking, should be part of the project 80 since it's a mental health project.
Uh-huh.
We will do the early morning exercise with the four schools involved for the games,
Uh-huh.
and when we are done, we can proceed to the school. We are having the origami exercise.
Great.
Then from that exercise, we'll come back to the football field to have the games. So it's
Great.
going to be a very busy day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great. So if I understand right, I don't know the logistics of it, Salam. So will we be able to walk from where we do the exercises to the origami and then back to where the game is? Is that all walkable?
No, we'll not be able to walk. It will be too far.
Aha.
Yes, yes. But
Okay.
we'll walk quite a distance
Okay.
in the morning, and then we can disperse and go have the origami. The kids can go and rest, and then reconvene in the evening for the football games.
Okay. Okay. And so logistically, with regards to transportation, you're good with moving all of those who are traveling for the event. You're okay with
Yes.
all
So
that.
yes. So for us, and when I say us, I mean the US team and the ground team of Give
Uh-huh.
Basic Needs.
Yeah.
So yesterday I went through a number of rentals, and we concluded that instead of using the Toyota Hiace,
Uh-huh.
which is usually 11-seater vehicle,
Uh-huh.
we could use the Toyota Coaster,
Okay.
which comes with I think about 17 seats or so,
Okay.
and they are very comfortable seats. So we will all be we'll all be in the bus, because
Beautiful.
the original plan was to get the Hiace and then we can add our pickup truck. And I realized that that would be a lot, because we'll have to be fueling both vehicles,
Yeah.
and probably we will either get a driver, or myself and Kevin will be driving. We'll be alternating on the pickup truck.
Uh-huh.
So it's best
Yeah.
we just get one vehicle that can take all of us.
Yeah. I
And
like this idea.
yes, so I'm getting that. I've made a 60% deposit for that vehicle. It should
Okay.
be moving towards Accra on the 12th of April.
Okay. Very
And then I've also arranged for the nurses. So the nurses, I might end up getting two buses, because we are getting a lot of people showing interest, and we want to take as many nurses as possible to the field, because we would want to exhaust, maybe finish early than not to be able to attend to everyone.
I agree. Yes.
Yes, yes. So that's the plan.
That's great. That's great. I think that's a good approach, Salam, is to uh, rather than let the line go into the dark, to try and finish up early in hope is that we serve everyone. I think that's by adding nurses, that's a brilliant plan. And it just shows that it'll be important that the ground team directs the volunteers, even from the US, as to tasks that they can do to assist on the ground during those events, whether it's directing people or setting up chairs, canopies, whatever might need to be done. So I think that that's great, and yeah, that's very good, very very good.
Yeah, excellent. I like too the bus idea because it will all be together too. That'll be good.
Yeah, it'll be nice. And the thing that is important, and the reason that I'm so excited to have Ben uh, with us on the travels is that he will bring his camera and be able to capture amazing photos and footage for Warihana and us to promote, and for the individuals traveling to promote their experience, so that next year in April, as Salam said, we can bring 30 people and not 14. What are we at? 12? How many people are we bringing? 11? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in any case, yeah. So I think it's great that Ben will be traveling with us, and being able to capture the entire, not only the travel event, but also capture these events, as these will likely be the only events the organization does this year, with the exception of the health hubs. And so it'll be really important to get a lot of documentation so we can spread things out over our social media posts. And, we may be doing posts about the travel well into May and June to continue to highlight the effects and the impact that we had. So, Ben, I just want to confirm that's kind of your plan, and you agree with that as well?
Yes, that's right. That's right. I'm all
Great.
ready for that.
Great. We're gonna put you in your element so you can shine. I know how you love the media. You'll always be our media.
Yeah, sure.
You'll always be our media Benny.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course, of course, of course.
So a couple of things on 80. I think we had talked about us from the US bringing colored pencils, correct?
This is
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
I think we forgot that on the budget. Or did I miss it?
No, so I didn't add it because we had agreed that you will bring that from the US.
yeah.
Okay.
That was why I left it and the origami paper out until you asked that I should add the origami paper.
Perfect. Okay, so
then he needs to add the pencils.
somebody does. You can add it right now.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking at Amazon and it comes in. It's 240.
I'm sorry, Luke. Are you or Haley listening to this? Because you guys were integral in part of the planning.
I'm listening. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I found on Amazon it's 240, so we'll have 240 sets that, and they come with pencil sharpener. So they won't come in a little box, but because we're having those bags for the children, then we can physically make the bundles of 12 colors and put them into each.
I would say that I mean, this is my preference, but I don't know. My preference would be, instead of buying so many, would be to give each child, and this is for Ben and Warihana and Salam to comment if need be, but I would just bundle maybe 3 colors with each child. I think, I don't know, like 12 colors seems excessive. I'd rather give, more children 3 and to choose from, or just give, than to give a packet of 12 to one child. But that's just my opinion. I don't
It's
know.
not crazy expensive. I mean, it's $53. So
Total? Yeah.
And
No, I agree. But I just mean when we distribute them. So each bag, each kid gets 3 pencils, is, in my opinion, and give more bags or more pencils to other people rather than.
But if you do that, then you may have, oh, she's got yellow, I want yellow.
It doesn't
he's
really
got
work,
blue.
but it doesn't really work that way in Ghana. It's, I got a pencil, look.
Ben or Ahana?
Yeah, your thoughts?
Yeah. So since we will be doing art, I was okay. There are some kind of coloring that will require a variety of colors to be able to produce something nice. Um, and most of the colors actually, or the pencils, come in those various colors. So I was thinking probably 5 colors each might be better. The 3 colors will limit the art they are trying to produce, but then they won't have enough colors to paint different sections of the drawing. These are my thoughts on that. Yeah.
It's good.
So we could break them into 6 since there's 12 colors,
Mhm.
and then give 6.
Six pencils to each bag and each child. Does that sound better, Ben?
Yeah, that sounds better. Yeah.
Okay, that's good input. And Warhani, do you have input on that, or do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. One thing that I had a question about is, if this comes with sharpeners, do we need to give sharpeners elsewhere? Because I think sharpeners were part of the budget, were they not?
Mhm.
So do we need to give 2 pencil sharpeners, or can we just give them a color pencil sharpener and it'll be all good?
This only comes with 12 sharpeners, so.
So the number of sharpeners to
Pencils.
is different. Okay, we'll just give those away as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm gonna add this to the budget. And then that way, then we should be fine for 80 to, and that's the last one to be paid.
and so that's going to give, so it's 100 children. Luke, are you agreeing on this?
Terry?
Yeah, I think 6 is okay.
Okay, so that's 600 pencils you're buying.
It's 240, sweetheart.
No, because you need 6 pencils per child. There's going to be 100 children. You need 600 pencils.
Oh, this is 240 count. Total count, not per. get it.
And all we need is a big bundle because we're gonna divvy them up into sixes anyhow.
Okay, so this
So we
is
don't
the-
really want we want the cheapest way to buy good pencils.
Okay, I'll do this later. I won't
Okay,
do
no
it
problem.
now.
But I just wanted
But I
to do
will.
the math really quick. Ben and Luke, you agree 600 pencils is the number of colored pencils we need. Okay. Ben
Okay.
agrees. Luke, you're good? Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I will get that added after the meeting, get it approved by the CFO and myself, and then we'll be good to go. So we will consider project 80 funded.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, approved. Moving from milestone 1.
2.
Going to 2. I don't remember.
I think it, okay, let's look at this. Okay. Anyways.
No, do it. Do it.
I'm looking at the time.
It's not been approved. It will move to milestone 2. Yeah, you're right.
It is through. It is.
It's
through
not
for
approved,
project
isn't it?
Approve it. We have review and approved it.
Right, we
So
haven't
reviewed.
approved it. Approving means you signed. That's 2. All right, here we go. Moving on.
Okay, project 79.
Update from Salam on 79 is what you want?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So project 79, we are all good. I've gotten a supplier, and I'll be placing an order for all the items for related to medical from the supplier from Monday. We'll be procuring the HIV test kits, the hepatitis B, the condoms, the hepatitis C, the malaria test kits, and the drugs, all from this particular supplier.
Great.
So I'll place the order. He gave me a 5 days delivery time.
Okay.
So hopefully by Friday I will have them.
Okay.
And I intend to spend the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, at the various communities where we'll be having the programs, to meet with the ground teams and to also contribute in ground logistics arrangements before I leave the following weekend to Accra. So barely we have just 2 weeks from now.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm going to make sure all the procurements that have to be done from Tamale is done within this week.
Yeah.
And then the weekend I will spend in the village,
Uh-huh.
in the villages, about 3 or 4 villages. And then, yeah, maybe some part of the weekdays, if I'm able to travel back to the villages again, I will. Last weekend I was there to meet the assemblymen towards the peace and unity deba.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and we are supposed to reconvey with some opinion leaders from the Koya group this weekend, because just yesterday, and I think from Wednesday to yesterday, they had a convention. So all the leadership and the youth groups were all at the convention, but the convention is over today. So I'll meet them as well and make sure I finalize the groundworks. I'm also going to make sure I procure all the things we need to procure from the local communities and the lead cooks who will come from the community themselves. That is, I plan to identify at least 3 women on ground who would help in procuring some of the items we need for the cooking, and also to lead the team and anybody else willing to volunteer in taking part of the cooking on the day of the event. Personally, I wouldn't be part of the cooking, so I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
And that's not because I don't want to cook, but I know I'll be busy with other stuff. That's
Yeah,
why.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. The president said the same thing to me. She's like, if I'm cooking, how will I make a speech and blah blah blah. And I said, don't worry, we'll have enough cooks. So if you can cook, good. If you can't, it's okay. We understand better. We focus on our strengths than our weaknesses. So yeah, it's very
Yeah.
good. Very good.
Excellent.
That all sounds excellent. And Salam, the only thing I would caution you on is uh, to make sure that and I think this is true based on what we said, but just make sure that the hepatitis vaccines are not don't require to be chilled, and that they don't spoil from the time that you buy them to the time that we inject them. Whatever that means, I can't, I don't know because I don't have the product, but it sounds like the wholesale you're working with will know, and you're already on top of that. But that was the only thing I wanted to remind you of. Is that's probably the most critical part of the entire event, is to not have any medication spoil, in that we can be as effective as possible.
Yes. So the supplier said the hepatitis B vaccines just need to be kept at room temperature,
Beautiful.
and they don't need to be in a cold chain.
Ah, perfect. Perfect. That's great. And then you'll store all of that at our tamale warehouse or our office.
Office, yes.
Okay.
We'll store all of that at our office.
Great, 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 great. All right.
And as you saw, I threw out the idea of inviting the 23 applicants that we have for the RN position to the medical event.
Mm-hmm.
And so I drafted a letter, I put in the picture of the flyer. And so I'm in the process, and Zura responded that she thought it was a good idea. And I think Ben too responded.
Yeah, Warihana did too, thought it was a great idea.
Okay, maybe it was Warihana, not Ben. But so I'm in the process of creating an email list in Smiley, so then I can email them all the same letter and saying, thank you for your application. Here's an event coming up. We would love to see you there. You can meet me personally, see what we do out in the field, firsthand and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be sending that out after I figure out a few more things to all of the applicants. And if they can come, they can come. That's great. If they can't, that's fine too. I understand, and I don't expect everybody to come. If they do, that's great. If not, no big deal. It's not a mark, against them as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And interesting though, I wanted to ask, a lot of them are also midwives. And so like in the US, that's a separate schooling. So yes, I'm a nurse, but I am not a midwife. In Ghana, is that different to where they're trained as nurses and midwives altogether, or is that extra training that they've gotten besides the nursing? I think Ben, you would know because of Joan for Salam.
In Ghana, is the same school that trains all of them, but they are different programs. I think from the first year they have a lot of general courses that they all study, and from their second year onwards, they those who want to be midwives who specialize into midwifery, and those who want to do pediatric nursing will do that. And so they have different classes of nursing, and then we have the general nurses as well.
I see. Okay.
And
Yeah.
on inviting the applicants to the program, I think it's a very good idea. Uh, I didn't have power since afternoon yesterday. It just came up less than 30 minutes ago, so I couldn't comment on that.
Sure.
But one thing I want to suggest is maybe in the email, if we can include that there will be transport arrangements made for any of them
I'm sorry, Salam, I think you broke up.
who, because they may be outside the community.
I'm sorry, Salam, you broke up there for a minute when you just when you started talking about transport. Could you re-say that?
Yes, so I was saying that we can add in the email to them that there will be transport arrangement from Tamale to the event grounds and back. because some of the applicants may definitely be outside Tamale or outside the community where we're having the event,
Yeah.
just to make them know. And
I would,
also, if we could include an invite link to the confirmed volunteers page so that we can have them join the page as we plan to meet with all the volunteers before we move to Accra.
Okay.
so Salam, I would like to see you send that little snippet that the president includes about the pickup location or whatever's going to happen with regards to transportation at least, so that the president can put it in there, because geographically we have no idea. I mean, and I think it should be specific.
That's a good point. Yeah.
If you could write that little 2 sentence blurb for the bottom of the, about transportation, and send that to the president to include, or work with the president specifically on it, I think it's important. Okay, great.
Awesome. Perfect. And the volunteer page?
Is this a volunteer that you're referring to, Salam? Is that the WhatsApp group, Ben?
No, it's not the general WhatsApp group. The general WhatsApp group consists of all volunteers, but we sent out emails specifically to those that attended on the last event. And we indicated that those who wanted to participate could join a specific group where discussions specific towards these particular events will be held. So that way we don't put every information about the event on the general page, but we can discuss time of meeting at the office to discuss further. Everything would be done on this in this group that we have named confirmed volunteers. So that's what Salam is referring to. So maybe I'll share the link with him as he's preparing the message to send to Presido. He could add that.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I think that's great. We just want to make sure that we get that right, because once we send 25 emails or whatever, we want to make sure that they have all the information in them, so we don't have a lot of confusion. So not only should the president send the final draft for approval to Ben and Salam, but I think that section about joining the groups locally and where to meet and transportation should actually be drafted by Salam.
Yeah, perfect. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Good work. Great work.
Good. And let's see, milestones. I forgot to add two with Project 80. We decided to go ahead and have a fourth group breakout, but we don't need any supplies for it.
Okay.
So it'll be like a mental health kind of emotions kind of talking.
Oh,
so
right.
That will be led by myself, Ren, and maybe Simone if he's able to volunteer with us that day. And Haley has some emotion cards, and she has some supplies and stuff that she can share, and we can use. So I forgot to add that about the art day.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I guess I want to throw this as a general question out to Salam, Ben, and Warihana. On the ground, how is the team feeling with regards to the workload of the upcoming travel events, and to travel not only for tourism purposes, but also for capturing video and capturing things, the events, all of these things? How is everyone's workload, who's on the ground in Ghana? Can you just comment on that, Warihana? How's your workload when it comes to upcoming travel and in April and the project that we have planned? Do you feel you have the resources you need to execute what you need, or are you strapped, or do you have excess?
I'm actually very excited about the trip, much so because this year we haven't really done a lot of projects in Ghana, and you coming and all the projects that we have lined up is a very strong way to start the year. And with regards to the preparations for the upcoming trips, I don't really have a lot doing.
Okay.
All I'm working on is the cards, the bags, and supporting Salam with the jollof first. Since I'm a woman, I know a bit more about cooking than he does.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't feel overwhelmed at all. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great. So you're comfortable. If I were to summarize that, you're comfortable with where you are. You're helping out on the cooking event with Salam. You're supporting Salam, and you might have a little bit of capacity. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Okay, great. And now, Ben, how are you feeling with what is going to happen with you on the travel dates when we all come to your beautiful country?
Yeah. So I think where I think there would be a lot would be during the three events, which I have someone who would be coming around to help me in terms of capturing videos and pictures for the three events.
Okay.
Yes. But then yesterday Simon also expressed interest. He said he would be having his leave within those dates.
Uh-huh.
So he said he will also be available. He was even suggesting if he could be, if it's possible, he join us through the entire trip. Yeah, which I said I would have to communicate that first before I give him any feedback.
Yeah, and I think that
Yes.
I don't have a problem having him join us. I don't know how the expenses look. I really can't express any more travel expenses for that, but if he wanted to join on his own, we could definitely do that. Or maybe depending on what Salam says around capacity, um, let's table that for right now. But thanks for sharing that. So you feel you're going to be very busy. You have someone that's going to help
Yes.
you, and you're comfortable on the ground.
Yes. Yes. I have people that would help.
Okay.
And with his joining, I think that wasn't coming with any extra expense to the foundation.
Oh,
Yes, it's something that would be handled. Yeah.
oh, yeah, that would be amazing then, and he's more than welcome to join us for any or all of the trip
Yeah,
as
let us
another
know.
yeah as another support for the ground team in general. I think that's beautiful, and as Abby pointed out, even when it comes to the mental health portion, etc., I think that would be great. I just don't know that um, paying an additional 1,400 US is justifiable for that right now.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, that would be handled here.
Okay, great, great. And then, um, so that's where you are, Ben. Salam, can you comment
Did
on?
we hear his capacity?
I,
His
yeah,
capacity?
go ahead. Yeah, if you have more questions, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wondered, Ben, for you, how are you feeling capacity wise with the upcoming trip and travel and everything?
Yeah, so I think with what I have put in place, I'm sure we can overcome. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
Reach out with any questions.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, sure.
We're here to support all of the ground team. That's our job, literally.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So
Sure.
reach out if there are things. But I think is what one of the things that inspired the question is that the work that you did in 2018 is still valuable today. So the things that we do in April and what you capture in April will be value in the next 5 years. So it's really important the work that you're doing, Ben, to capture the moment, and that makes all the difference. So we want to make sure that everybody is well supplied and staffed as they need to be, and so without any stipend or anything, Simone is more than welcome to join us on all of the trip, all of the travel.
Yeah.
If he would like or can afford or it works out financially for him, he's more than welcome to join the team, the ground team.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, great. And then Salam, can you comment on your capacity and where you are with the things that you need to execute for the upcoming travel and events?
Yes, I think it's a lot for me, but I think everything is under control. I'm just making sure I get the right people involved, especially given that the events are scheduled for 3 consecutive days, day after day, and also given that we are going to be absent for until the day or a day to the event. But I'm making sure I'll put right arrangements in place to have it covered. So yeah, and like I said, I'm positive that it's everything will go on well.
Okay.
Your voice sounds better this week than it did last time.
Yeah, we hope that you're healthy.
Yes, I'm okay now.
Good. So yeah, so again, Salam, if there's things that you need help with, whatever it might be during the travel, you know now that we have Simone who's going to be joining the team, who can help execute projects and take some leadership that you could delegate potentially to. That's an amazing offer that he's offered to do that. I would just like to hear from Ben in Discord and hopefully maybe Simone directly in Discord that that he is planning on traveling and that that's been confirmed, just so that we know if we can rely on him as a resource. That would be great if you could have that, make that happen, Ben.
Okay, yeah, I think Simon is already on our Discord server, so I'll just let him confirm that there.
Yeah, and you can do a post in there and just call him out and say, Simone, you know, we discussed it. We're looking forward to having you, and then he can confirm at what his capacity might be, and then Salam will know, or you'll know, okay, we can delegate these tasks to him or ask him to participate in a certain way, and things that the travelers may not be able to help execute because of local culture, or local traditions, or just general knowledge on the ground.
All right, sure, I'll do that.
Great.
Okay.
I did forget to mention earlier, Zuera did put in her application for the RN lead, so that was good.
That is good news, yeah.
All right, I think the last thing you wanted to talk about was wages for invoices.
Yeah. So So one thing that I'd like to talk about is payday. Everyone, everyone needs to get paid, and so unfortunately we're already March 29, and we need to submit those invoices. So this will be a little bit different. So I wanted to talk this through with Ben here and make sure that we're on the same page. So the way I understand it is I haven't had time to draw the milestones for wages and how that flow is actually going to work. So what I think is what's going to happen is Warihana, Ben, and Salam will create purchase invoices that Ben then reviews for wages. Ben will then create a sales invoice for the Colussi Family Foundation to pay. And then once based on the wages, then and that the Salam and Warihana and Ben himself are asking for, and then that sales invoice will essentially go to the Colussi Family Foundation. I'll take that sales invoice, turn it into a purchase invoice, send USDC to the foundation wallet that Ben controls, and then Ben will submit and pay the purchase invoices that were originally created while recording the sales invoice payment as well. Does that sound right, Ben?
Yes, that sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So Warihana, Salam, and Ben, if you could do Ben a favor and create those invoices, they'll be paid from Give Basic Needs Ghana. As the company, you should create your purchase invoices against that company as opposed to the Colussi Family Foundation going forward. Does that make sense, Warihana? Okay, great. And Salam, you agree and understand? Great. Okay, so if you guys have individual questions about wages and whatever, work with Ben. Once I get the sales invoice, I'll send the payment, and we'll try to get those to you as we do every month in a timely manner and as quickly as possible. Great. That was all I had on the payday wages.
Do you have anything else for the meeting?
That's enough. I've talked enough.
Salam, how about you? Anything else for the meeting?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, thanks, Salam. Luke, how about you?
Nope, I'm all good.
Okay, Ben?
Nope,
Warihana?
No, that's all from me.
Perfect. Elaina, how about you?
I'm all good.
Okay, excellent. Well, again, thank you all for your time, patience, and energy being here. We appreciate you all, and have a wonderful week. Reach out with any questions or any support that you need.
For sure. That last one's I would reinforce is we all have a lot going on right now, whether it's from the U.S. or in Ghana, and so we need to rely on each other as a support network, prioritize, and pivot when we need to. And so, Salam, let us know if you get to a point where you're feeling overwhelmed, and let us know how we can help. We'll start to move these funds over to Ben as well for Project 80, so you can start making the payments to execute that project as well.
Absolutely. All right, thank you.
Great, thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you for a wonderful meeting.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
See, see for